I record every time I teach so I can kind of give myself like pointers, or if I like stumbled over my words, like, oh, I need to stop here and paste it. I'm just waiting for this to log on. Okay, there we go. All right. All right. Just one moment. Just one moment. Okay, it's already projecting.
Feels fun.
Is it unlocking it? Okay, perfect. Accept and start working. Okay.
Yeah, no, this chair is actually wet.
Oh, love that, okay.
Ah, there it is. Okay.
Not cold, wet? No, actually wet. I don't like that. Wow.
Darn it.
It's.
Oh. All right. So. So how's everybody feeling today? You doing all right? Oh, sleepy?
Glad it's our Friday.
Your Friday? Yeah, that's good. Okay. Nobody said any feelings. I know. Just states of being. That's interesting. Okay. All right.
Tired. Is that a state of being? No, that just comes.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off and set the intention. All right, so hello everyone. I feel like everybody in this room, especially last spring semester. You all helped me out so much, so thank you for coming today. And this is my certification. I'll be speaking about holistic health. All of this is backed by science. None of this is my opinion, all right? So I have a few handouts I would like to give out to you guys, but I got this certification through the International Sports and Sciences Association, or the ISSA. So I will show you guys this if you like to look at it. And then I don't have the printout, but it's at my parents' house of my life coaching certification. It's through social skills and emotional intelligence. So both of those things together is like the physical and the emotional social, which is what holistic health is at the end of the day, right? So, I'm just gonna pass these out, but we'll go through them kind of one by one. Some of these are on the slideshow, some of these are not. I only have these, few 15 minutes, so I wanted to make sure that you guys take something home with you, and you requested too. I forgot about that. Yeah. So, yes, moving right along. So, what do we think of when we hear holistic health? Does anyone want to share?
Like the word health, I pick up on, but holistic, whole. What does it mean? I don't know.
Okay.
You know,
It's not just, for me, it's not just a medical approach to health, it's like looking at exercise and your nutrition and your sleep hygiene and all of that.
spiritual well-being.
Spiritual being, yes. Okay, great answers. Anyone? Okay, it's fine. Moving right along. So some people think of the misconception of holistic health as I'm just gonna do yoga and watch the sunrise, and then I'm healthy holistically, right? Some people think, I gotta figure out all of my problems and just think through them, and that's holistic health. Not needing anyone else, just me thinking about all my problems. This person is sitting here meditating, smiling a little bit. But that's also not holistic health. We don't want you to solve all your problems yourself. Having problems is natural in life. So if you think you're going to solve all your problems in one sitting, it's going to be a tough go at life. We'll just say it like that. Some people think of holistic health as I need to devote my whole life to it. I need to become a clergy member, a nun, a monk, right? You see these, groups of people coming and devoting their lives to something bigger. And that does touch on the spiritual health that sorry, I forgot your name, but you mentioned earlier. But according to ScienceDirect.com, holistic health is defined as a healing approach that emphasizes the balance and harmony among the body, mind, and soul, as well as the individual's relationship with the environment and the universe. And then I put in there, this is the concept of the web of life, if you have ever heard of that. That is the indigenous belief that the animals, the plants, the people, nature, everything is all together in one balance, right? And it is also based on the belief that well-being is a natural state achieved through this balance of the mind, body, and soul. This is also known as medical empathy. So looking at the issue from a more empathetic, perspective versus, like you said, the medical, like taking into account how are people feeling, how are people around them impacting them, what environment are they in, what foods are they eating, right? If you're having a lot of sugary processed foods, that can give you addiction symptoms, depression symptoms, just a whole lot of things. So you want to make sure everything is balanced, right? Mind, body, and soul. And the opposite of this, as I shared on a few things with food, is again, addictive behavior to either alcohol, nicotine, drugs, caffeine, food, technology, and then some behaviors that come with it, right? The addictive behaviors with gambling, shopping, playing too much games, overworking yourself. If you've ever heard of, being a workaholic, that is technically an addiction. A lot of people have an addiction to social media today. Very interesting things going on. They're trying to pass legislation to limit, for age or for amount of time in the day that you could be on social media. So yeah, it's a lot of new things that people are coming to understanding that holistic health is the bigger picture, not just the zoomed in, looking at it with the magnifying glass, like, okay, what's this one problem? How are we going to fix it? It's that there are a lot of things that impact someone that could lead to the problem, so we need to get to the root cause of it. So these are some examples of people who took their holistic health lifestyle and made it into a brand. So these people became vegan, and on the left, this is a woman who was just vegan her whole life, and then she got interviewed after, going viral on social media and, telling people about her diet and that, she's in her 70s and she looks, you can kind of guess how young she looks, but doesn't look like 70, right? And then she launched it into a business on how people can take care of their body and look young by living in a more holistic way. And the vegan lifestyle, if you guys are not familiar, is someone who does not eat or consume any animal products, and they don't buy things like leather, fur, things made out of animal skin type of thing. So she felt that her personal beliefs led to her changing her diet, and that led to her changing her life. And then, of course, she became successful from that. And then on the right, this guy just posting on Facebook. He's really popular on there, known as the elderly vegan, but he lifts weights. He's a bodybuilder, and he's completely vegan. And it was like challenging the norm of what holistic health looks like in men as well. Some people just think of being healthy or knowing a lot about health as a specific gender thing, like, oh, women know more, women are healthier, this or that. But it's also, he was challenging that kind of status quo of like, yes, you could live a healthy lifestyle, be a vegan, and still be a man. That's his like persona. And then there's another example of holistic health, someone who lived 108 years old. She was a painter and an active walker every single day, and she lived, it says, independently until she was 109 years old. And she went vegan in 1922 after hearing a doctor talk about becoming vegan and the benefits of it. So here you can see like the people who built a brand, the people who tested the status quo, broke out of social norms, and the person that just showed like, taking care of your mind, body, and doing things that give you an outlet, like painting, can help you live longer. So these are just a few examples. And so these are the ranges of health, right? So health is not just, eating right, going to sleep on time, going to the doctor's appointments like you're talking about. It's also, again, things relate more to your environment. So how does your family play a part in your health? How does your work play a part in your health? The sports or hobbies or things that you do outside of, obligations, right? And then of course the sleep, the lifestyle, friends, diet, hygiene, very big, a very big thing in holistic health. Stress management, of course, everybody needs to be able to relax and, activate that parasympathetic nervous system. So these are also the benefits of holistic health. So you'll have a strengthened immune system, you will have improvement to your sleep, balance your hormones, your mood improves, of course, you have more energy, it says increased disease prevention, you are improved in your digestive health, processing things in your body quicker, sustainable weight loss without the need to restrict yourself with calories or deprive yourself of certain things that you like to eat. Maybe just finding a replacement for things that are a little bit unhealthy, but there's a balance of everything in life. You can have a candy bar, once a week or something, not something to regularly do, right? You don't want to get addicted to food. But yeah, so this is the holistic benefits of having proper nutrition. And then daily influences, there's a few charts here, but it's basically showing that your workplace and your personal life today, we spend a lot of time at work. So they're showing it as split in half. Like, how does your physical work environment and the social psycho aspects of your work environment, how does that affect you, right? So keeping track of those things, keeping, the balance of everything, right? Making sure you're taking breaks, making sure you're drinking enough water in the day, not just going. That's how burnout happens, of course. And then on the right side, you have the aspects, of course, your family, your cultural side of things, the financial side of things, your physical aspects of your environment in your personal life. If you have children, right, if you're married or have a serious relationship, that's also a part of that. And then on the right, there's just more examples like your business, media meaning like apps that you're on, social media, Discord, blogs, whatever you do, family, arts, education, government, religion, all of these things are influences on your health every single day, whether you interact with them or not. We are a very mixed, blended society, so a lot of people have different opinions on all of these things. So, of course, that can affect you and your health over time, right? And then, I don't have time to get through this, but these are just some examples of wellness: emotional, spiritual, cultural, intellectual, financial, environmental, occupational, physical, social. But yeah, we don't have time to get to the culture wheel. But holistic treatments. So we talked about what holistic health is. These are some examples of treatments. So doing cardio during the week, those high intensity, middle range exercises, great for heart health, great for your fascia, great for your mobility and posture. We talked about yoga a little bit, but yoga is basically doing stretches and deep breathing. So it can activate, again, that rest, digest, recover part of your brain, right? Your nervous system. And then massages, getting regular massages or visits to the chiropractor, those are holistic health doctors, right? Acupressure, acupuncture, those are holistic health avenues, right? Instead of taking a medication, sometimes people say, well, I don't want to do that. Let's look at, the natural or holistic way. And then change of environment. Sometimes people just have a lot going on. They're like, I like my job, I like my family, I like my husband or wife, but hey, something still needs to change. So changing environment just means like going outside more, being more kind of spontaneous with your expression. Like, hey, I want to go to an open mic night, or hey, I want to go to a wildlife refuge. Just kind of doing something to get out of that environment, get out of your head, right? And then some holistic health treatments are meditation, breathing exercises to help calm you down, doing like Sense, I Spy, or naming the things you could see around you, right? And then the emotional holistic treatments are talk therapy, also known as CBT therapy, but EMDR therapy is also one of those holistic health treatments because it is about rapid eye movements and lights and things like that during the treatment instead of just you talking about a specific problem that maybe you're not able to understand or emotionally work through. So there are different types of therapy other than talk therapy, but music therapy, art therapy, these are all play therapy for kids that are younger. They do play therapy as well, and they, talk to their therapist after their mind is like on autopilot. They're like, oh, I'm painting this thing, or oh, I'm playing with these dolls, and then, the therapist would say, well, tell me about this, and then they're kind of focused and a little calmer, and that honesty comes out, that emotion that they're feeling comes out, right? And music therapy, right? Listening to music that gets you in a better mood or helps you release that emotion, like, listening to sad music when you break up with someone, right? Or listening to really happy, like rhythmic, certain frequencies that you feel good, you feel empowered, you feel confident. That's also a form of music therapy. And then some people just pray, just prayer. There's a lot of religious people that they sit and read their holy texts, they pray, and they fast, and that's a way that they get that emotion or they get that thing that's bothering them out of their mind, and they say, okay, I'm giving it to a higher power, and that works just the same as yoga or just the same as therapy for some people. So again, no personal opinions, all of these are right. I hope that all of people pursue treatments that are like this versus a medication or something that might impact their sleep cycle. I'll just say that. And then these are just some examples from the personal training aspect of things. Keeping in mind what you're doing on a more conscious level. Like, okay, how much water did I drink today? Okay, did I have enough protein? Did I have enough carbs? Did I have enough fats? So my brain works properly, the left and the right side of my brain, right? That emotional regulation comes with that, right? So these are just some examples. Like, this is someone who's more meticulous, tracks it, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, total calories at the end of the day. And then this is just, someone who's a little bit more silly or more visual, and they're like, okay, and they could kind of circle the stuff that they had, right, the time and the quantity, and then they have here at the bottom, okay, I did some cardio today, or I did weight training, or I did stretching and hiking and walking, and then they write their mood on the right as well, and then added the minutes of sunlight that they were outside. So they're tracking their vitamin D levels and their dopamine levels that way as well. And then here's another example with the life coaching aspect of things. So on the left side, again, more of a meticulous type of person. So they said, okay, what are the things I'm grateful for? What am I feeling today? What do I intend to do? Today's intentions, right? And then affirmations, right? I am blank type of affirmations. Really popular today. I'm sure you guys have heard of affirmations. And then again with the water, sleep, exercise, and then they wrote, what's the best part of the day? And then what is my energy levels on a scale of 1 to 5? On a scale of 1 to 5, how stressed out was I today? And then something that they did for themselves, like self-care, right? Sometimes we have, just as human beings living life, sometimes we have a just thing that we naturally do where we don't give ourselves credit for things. And, we do 20 things in the day and we might only remember those 3 things that we did. Or sometimes we're really, really productive, but then one bad thing happens, or we made a mistake, or we didn't do something on our, to-do list, and that's the front of our mind. So it's good to remind yourself, like, hey, this is what I did. I was productive. This bothered me, but you know what? I did a lot for myself. I have, high energy today. It was a good day, right? So yeah, and then on the right side, a little sillier, goofier. What was the best moment of today and the worst moment of today? Things I'm thankful for at the bottom, things I'm proud of that I did, and the different moods that they were in. And it's just a daily check-in for that person, or weekly check-in if you want to start to get into being more intentional and tracking things. It's easier to do it like once a week, and then every few days, and then work your way up to daily check-ins. So are there any questions that you guys have? Any comments? We went through that pretty quick.
So I have worked in healthcare for a long time and my master's in healthcare administration. One thing I've learned with patients or people, sometimes when you talk to people about their health, they get a little bit like put off